Welcome to NarrativeNook where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Hello Rory, I've heard so much about you, Arabella nodded to him with a slight dip of her head. She'd caught wind of Rory's reputation. The high-end brands that the public often saw, like LV and Dior, were considered luxury brands. However, true top-tier luxury lied in haute couture, which was comparable to the Rolls-Royce within the realm of luxury items. Typically, only royalty, top-tier tycoons, superstar celebrities, and the wives and daughters of political figures could afford such exclusivity. Haute couture was the most special, the most professional, and thus, the most expensive. Rory's brand, BT, hailed from the esteemed Belloria, a name that resonated with international acclaim. Year after year, it ranked in the top 5 at the world's premier luxury goods research institutions. Politicians, celebrities from across the globe adored BT. The tailored suits BT crafted for them made them appear more tasteful, more unique, and they exuded an unmatched presence. That's why the brand was so beloved. Arabella herself was a fashion designer, so she understood that these brands' custom pieces weren't just available to anyone with deep pockets. The brands would assess the local prestige of a potential client's family, extending invites only to those who met their criteria. Should a client accept, designers would personally take measurements and tailor clothes specifically for them. Clients were expected to spend anywhere from $1 million to $10 million annually to maintain their exclusive status. So, looking around, there were at least 7 or 8 brand designers whose families likely spent up to $10 million a year on haute couture alone. Hello Arabella, I'm Eudora, the lead designer at CR. It's a pleasure to meet you, Eudora said as she reached out for a handshake, secretly marveling at Arabella's beauty. Arabella had an air different from the daughters of the financial elite. She possessed an unsullied and serene aura, as if the winter snowflakes melted in her eyes, captivating and exuding an irresistible purity. Hello, Arabella returned the handshake. CR's roots dug deep into Nova Haven's history, spanning a century, specializing in women's couture. It's beloved by the wives and daughters of many magnates, female members of various royal families, celebrities, and socialites. CR's clothing stood for the pinnacle of fashion and taste, and wearing them was akin to donning masterpieces. Miss Bella, I'm Donna, the creative director and lead designer at EV Jewelry. Please, just call me Donna. You're too modest. Your reputation precedes you, and I'm thrilled to meet you today, Arabella responded, shaking her hand. One by one, the designers introduced their brands and roles, and Arabella greeted each, exchanging contact information. Louisa then had her staff bring in the afternoon tea and pastries, encouraging them to discuss while enjoying the treats. CR's designer, Eudora, inquired earnestly about Arabella's everyday fashion preferences, her needs for the upcoming holidays, the styles she fancied, and the fabrics she preferred. Another women's couture brand, QZ, listened intently to Arabella's thoughts. Though lacking a storied history, QZ surpassed even luxury brands in haute couture popularity. From its meteoric rise, it had captivated high society, and by collaborating with premier couture brand, it had firmly grasped the hearts of the most elite consumers. The other designers were busy consulting Kenneth and Louisa's preferences, sketching outlines of garments on tablets, adding splashes of color, and seeking their satisfaction with the designs, asking what needed tweaking. As the maid Sarah poured tea, she couldn't help but marvel silently at the array of sketches laid out on the table. They're so beautiful, she whispered to herself. Once she set the teapot down and stepped back, she leaned in to whisper to Edith, "These designers are incredible, aren't they? To come up with so many styles in such a short time, and each one is just stunning." It was beyond her sense of beauty. She knew that one couldn't find such exquisite designs in any department store. Without powerful strength, how can they attract clients? Edith whispered back, "The designers you see here, they don't just serve any client. Money is not enough. They look at the family's influence. Take BT for example, Mr. Collins has to spend $2 million a year just to keep this slot." Sarah gasped, nearly jumping out of her skin. $2 million? And with 7 or 8 brands represented here, the household must be spending tens of millions annually on haute couture alone. It was lavish and shocking. "These dresses are so expensive. I can't even imagine owning one. Edith, tell me, do people really spend that much money on clothes? Sarah asked, her disbelief evident. You're new to this world, Edith explained. Globally, there are about 3,000 haute couture clients. They're either from the billion-dollar club, royalty, or wives and daughters of prominent politicians and celebrities. What seems expensive to us is just a drop in the bucket to them. Clothes for festivals? They wear them just once. Just once. Sarah's eyes widened in shock. All that time and money on a dress, only for it to be worn once? Isn't that wasteful? Well, the wealthy, especially during Halloween, love customizing all sorts of bizarre costumes. They're also worn just once. The next year it's all about who can be more creative. No one wears last year's costumes. Sarah couldn't wrap her head around it. But the stores have beautiful ready-to-wear collections from brands, with designs perfect for celebrations, all for a fraction of the price of couture. And if they don't fit perfectly, they can be tailored. Why wouldn't Mr. and Mrs. Collins choose ready-to-wear? It's so much more convenient and affordable. Edith gave her a knowing look. True blue bloods rarely go for ready-to-wear, except for everyday wear. For significant events, it's always couture. You might not understand this now, but once you're part of that world, you'll see why it's necessary. Sarah realized she was living in the same villa as Kenneth and Louisa, yet it was as if they inhabited different worlds. Edith, you know so much. Sarah suddenly felt like she had been living under a rock. You'll learn in time, Edith reassured her softly. Just then, Kenneth approached his daughter Arabella, holding a tablet. Bella, designer Rory drafted some suits for me. Take a look and tell me what you think. He passed the tablet to her. And about our family outfits, would that be too childish? Louisa chimed in, handing over another tablet. Designer Eudora has also created a few just for me. Do you think they'd suit me? Let me see, Dad. Arabella took the tablet, expertly navigating the design software, swiftly tweaking the suits to an even more impressive level. Rory watched, his eyes widening in disbelief. Arabella had effortlessly improved upon his designs, elevating them to a whole new level. Was she studying design? She seemed college age, maybe a freshman? Yet, she was so proficient with design software. With her talent for design, Rory wondered if she would consider joining BT. If she was willing, she would surpass Rory one day. Great job. I love these revisions even more. Kenneth hadn't expected that in just a few minutes, his daughter had transformed his suits into something even more dashing and utterly unique, making them stand out in a crowd. Let's go with Bella's revisions. Kenneth exclaimed with joy. Arabella was back at work on her mother's tablet, first tweaking several of Louisa's evening gowns into even more elegant and graceful creations, then reworking some matching family outfits into something heartwarmingly affectionate. The designers were utterly astounded by her natural flair for design. How did she manage to come up with such impeccable designs in such a short time frame and then sketch them out? Miss Bella, have you studied design? Asked Eudora, her tone a mix of surprise and camaraderie. May I ask who mentored you? Our daughter's reputation precedes her. You would definitely recognize her if I told you. Louisa teased, playing coy. The room exchanged glances. They were familiar with the style, the capability, the level of proficiency, and a reputation that spoke volumes. Could it be a designer from QY? Only a designer from QY could exhibit such expertise. But Miss Bella was an heiress. Why would she work as a designer? And apart from QY, what other domestic brand could possibly match? You're half right, Louisa said with a smile, still keeping them in suspense. Half right? Was she really from QY? Or really a designer? Miss Bella's design expertise is obviously superior to mine, so I dare to ask, are you perhaps the founder of QY Queen Abby? The style of Queen Abby was just too similar to Arabella's recent designs. The other designers were catching on to the possibility, all eyes turning to Arabella as if waiting for confirmation. To be able to provide feedback so swiftly and to improve upon the work of all of us, domestically. I dare say, with all due respect, that apart from QY's founder Queen Abby, no other ordinary brand's designer can match me. Louisa was beaming with pride. That's right, my precious daughter is indeed the founder of QY Queen Abby. The designers were even more shocked, to the point where their styluses nearly slipped from their hands. How could they be qualified to design for the founder of QY? Was it Queen Abby showing them too much respect, or were Mr. and Mrs. Collins just too gracious? My apologies. We had no idea you were the founder of QY. The designers lined up to shake Arabella's hand, one after another. I just can't bear the thought of my darling daughter getting tired, so I figured we'd have her New Year outfit made by professionals outside. Louisa's words sparked a wave of envy among the designers. When a wealthy mom doted on her daughter, she really went all out. Your mother is so good to you. I'm so jealous you have such a caring mother. We'll do whatever you want. Just tell us how you'd like to tweak the designs. The adjustments you made to Mrs. Collins's outfits were simply stunning. You've really got an eye for this. Just then, Edith approached with excitement. Mrs. Collins, Miss Bella, Miss Myrna is here. Myrna was Chasel's girlfriend. Perfect timing, let her in. Louisa said, getting up to greet her warmly. Kenneth, Louisa, hope I'm not interrupting. Myrna stepped in, changing her shoes, her face beaming with a lovely smile. Her gaze inadvertently fell on Arabella lounging on the couch. Bella, you're here too. I just texted you. At this hour, she'd assumed Bella would be at work, so she had even sent a message saying she was dropping by the Collins to deliver some things, including a little gift for Bella. Bella was busy revising the designs and missed your text, but you could have messaged me. Louisa said, noticing Myrna's arms laden with bags. Why bring so much stuff? And where's Chaucel? Didn't he come back with you? He's still on a mission, Myrna replied with a smile. With the holidays around the corner, I picked up a few things for you and Bella. She didn't mention Serena. You're too thoughtful, dear. Come in and sit down. I was just thinking of asking Chaucel for your sizes to have some clothes tailor-made for you. Perfect timing, designer Eudora. Could you help measure my future daughter-in-law? She and Bella seem to have similar figures. Could you design a few pieces for her too? It's okay, Louisa, I'm just passing through. I've got other missions to do. Myrna couldn't stay long. She had planned to visit the Collins before the holidays, but her schedule was packed, and today was the only chance she had to sneak away. Glancing at the clock, she added, I also came today to extend an invitation. My parents would like to invite you for dinner during the holidays, if that suits you. She delivered the invitation personally as a sign of respect from her parents to the Collins. Louisa beamed at the invitation. We'd be delighted. We are free anytime. Just let us know when your parents are available. Oh, and how did Chaucel do when he visited your folks? I asked him, but he didn't spill the beans. My parents really liked him, Myrna said with a smile. They had nothing but praise for Chaucel. Come in and make yourself at home. Arabella stepped forward. Let's not all stand around in the doorway. Louise suddenly realized she and her future daughter-in-law had been standing and chatting for quite a while. Look at me, all scatterbrained with excitement, she chuckled warmly. Myrna, come on in and have a seat. I have to run. Myrna glanced at the clock on the wall. Time was slipping away, and she turned to Arabella. I'll catch up with you another day. With those words, she wrapped Arabella in a big hug. As they embraced, Arabella whispered in Myrna's ear, Is everything safe? No worries, Myrna replied, her smile concealing her caution. She didn't want to alarm Kenneth and Louisa or let the gossiping designers overhear anything. I'm off then. I'll come visit over the holidays. Bella, see you around. You're leaving already? After bringing all these gifts? Wait a minute, let me walk you out, Louise said hurriedly, following Myrna's steps. Next time you come, don't bring anything. It's too much. Are you and Chaucel off for the holidays? You should come over for dinner. Sure, Myrna said with a smile. I love the vibe at your place, Louisa. Why isn't Serena here today? Normally, having a designer come over for a fitting was an event Serena would never miss. Louise, considering Myrna as part of the family, didn't intend to keep secrets. I sent her next door to reflect on her behavior. As Louise relayed the story, Myrna's expression turned to one of anger. Why hasn't she learned her lesson? Last time, she told her classmates that Bella managed to sweet-talk her way into your hearts just because she's pretty and smart, and that's why she was taken in as your goddaughter, given the Collins name, and lived under the same roof as her. If I hadn't stumbled upon her lies, who knows how much more she'd have slandered Bella. What? Louise couldn't believe her ears. It had been months since that incident, and she never imagined Serena would be so outrageous, mouthing off without restraint at school. The classmates thought Bella, an adopted daughter, was bullying Serena. They were all sympathizing with her. I'm an outsider after all, and this is a Collins family matter, so I didn't want to interfere too much. That's why I had Chaucel go to the school. In front of Chaucel and me, Serena at first pretended to faint to find a way out, but then her friends found out she was lying. They've all fallen out with Serena. Louise felt a coldness settle in her heart. She had never expected the child to turn out this way, lying compulsively and being two-faced. She was always such a well-behaved and sensible child, excelling in everything from a young age. How could she have changed so drastically in just 6 months? Louisa. Myrna felt it necessary to speak her mind. Serena bullying Bella isn't new. She even cried and promised Chaucel there wouldn't be a next time, and Chaucel gave her a chance, not telling you or Kenneth. But after all this time, she did it again at Mr. Eugene's birthday party. This shows she never thought she was wrong. On the contrary, she's been looking for chances to get back at Bella. I think as long as she's around, Bella will only suffer more. Louise was profoundly shaken. She had wanted to give Serena another chance, but now it seemed the child was beyond redemption. She's good at putting on a show in front of others, but she often bullies Bella in private. Myrna glanced at her phone, really out of time now. Louisa, I really have to go. You'll have to consider this. After all, she wasn't officially part of the family yet, and it wasn't her place to say too much. Come for dinner with Chaucel when you can. Louise watched her leave and then returned to the main house. Looking around, she wondered, where was her precious daughter? She had something come up suddenly and went upstairs to handle some work. Kenneth approached Louise quietly. Honey, maybe it's time we cool things down a bit. Since Miss Kiki had stepped in and filed a complaint, the tide of public opinion was turning. The situation was now looking up for Bella, and with the heat dying down, nobody could claim she had paid to make the scandal go away. We could still hire some online supporters to steer Bella's image in an even better direction. I need to talk to you, Louisa's voice laden with concern. What is it? Louisa asked the designers to continue tweaking their drafts and then led Kenneth out to the garden. She recounted everything Myrna had told her, not leaving out a single detail. Kenneth was hit like a ton of bricks, seemingly unable to believe that the girl he once thought of as his precious daughter was capable of such deceit. Meanwhile, Serena had been waiting since 3 in the afternoon. It was now past 5 o'clock, and the designers still hadn't shown up to take her measurements. Occasionally, she'd pick up her binoculars to spy on the main house, but there was no sign of anyone coming her way. After a while, she saw the designers leave the mansion and drive off into the distance. Her heart sank. It seemed her parents, now that they had their own daughter, were showing their true colors, forgetting even her New Year's outfit on such an important holiday. So much for fairness. There was no such thing as equality in this family, was there? Weren't they wealthy? Wasn't there plenty of money? Couldn't they afford to have a couple of custom outfits made for her? Or was it that they just didn't want to spend it? Now that they had their own daughter, they wanted to save all the best for her. Just then, her phone buzzed twice. She thought it might be a message from her parents, but when she checked, it was from her old friend Juliet. Serena, New Year is coming up, and I can't get my hands on the new LM collection. Could you do me a solid? Juliet sent 2 voice messages. Their new designs are to die for, and I know you guys only wear couture for New Year, and wouldn't care for ready-to-wear gowns, but for me, it's so gorgeous it's driving me insane. I really want it. LM, like LV, was a luxury brand, but some of their limited edition new releases were only available to VIP customers. In the past, If Serena was willing to help, Juliet could get her hands on a dress that was otherwise unattainable. Because Serena was a long-time VIP with LM, even if there was only one piece of a design left, LM would sell it to her first. Her being the Collins family's daughter meant her shopping experience mattered a lot to them, given the Collins family's prestige at home. I know it's just a word from you, and I'll transfer the money to your card later. In our circle, you're the ultimate rich and pretty girl, the only one who can pull this off. Truth be told, I'm so envious of you. As the Collins family's daughter, you get whatever you want. Unlike me, I don't even have the chance to buy a dress. It was moments like these when Serena felt a cut above the rest. Her mood lifted slightly as she forwarded Juliet's selected design to LM's customer manager. It wasn't long before the customer manager replied, "Miss Serena, did you have your eye on this dress? This piece has been reserved by Ms. Arabella, and it's the only one. You gave her the dress I wanted." Serena was clearly unhappy. Because Ms. Arabella is our top client at LM, she naturally gets priority. What are you implying? Didn't Mrs. Collins inform you? You're no longer a VIP with our brand. Ms. Arabella has taken your place. What did you just say? Serena doubted her own eyes, but the message from Giselle was clear. Arabella had usurped her status as LM's VIP. She was stunned for a moment before asking, "When did this happen?" "Just now." Serena hadn't expected this. Not only had her mother not allowed those designers to come and tailor clothes for her, she had actually transferred her membership to Arabella. "I am now Ms. Arabella's personal account manager, and unfortunately, I can no longer continue to serve you, Ms. Serena. Should you become a VIP with our brand again in the future, a new manager will be assigned to you." Serena, still in disbelief, shakily attempted to reach out to other high-end brand account managers, only to find out that she was no longer considered a VIP anywhere, only Arabella was. And all of this had just happened. Her mother had revoked all her VIP privileges in one fell swoop and handed them to Arabella. "Serena, did you get it all sorted? How much did it cost? With your connections, LM must have given you a hefty discount. Thanks so much, you've saved me a bundle. Which card should I transfer to?" Reading Juliet's message, Serena paused for a long while before replying, "Juliet, I just found out that my mom thinks LM is too down market for our family's current status. So, I'm no longer their VIP client. Sorry about that, you might want to check out other brands." Juliet sent back an emoji of astonishment, unable to believe that a brand on par with LV could be considered low-end by them. Were the Collins family on the brink of bankruptcy? Or facing cash flow problems? Typically, if they found a brand beneath them, they'd simply stop shopping there, but why go to the extent of actively canceling the VIP status? That seemed unnecessary. But since Serena had said it, Juliet didn't want to push, and politely dropped the subject after a few courteous exchanges. Later, Betty came to deliver dinner, and seeing Serena's mood, she cautiously reported, "The items you ordered online have been delivered, but Mrs. Collins didn't sign for them as she usually does." "What do you mean?" Serena was shocked. The goods she had ordered a few days ago from a high-end international website had not been signed for by her mother. In the past, no matter what she purchased, someone always paid for it upon delivery. But now, her mother really had changed. Also, the New Year's gift you picked out, the Ferrari, has been cancelled by Mrs. Collins too. The dealership called to ask why, and she said she wanted to get a better one for Ms. Arabella. "What did you say?" Serena was utterly dumbfounded, unable to believe her mother's blatant favoritism. "And there's more." Betty carefully laid out the dinner, her voice tentative. "Your cards have been frozen." "When did this happen? Which cards?" Serena asked, her shock unabated. Her parents had given her several sub-credit cards in the past, always depositing money into them every month, allowing her to buy whatever she wanted. "Just now." Betty's voice trailed off, her gaze flitting over the distressed look on Serena's face. She didn't want to be the bearer of bad news, but honesty prevailed. "It's all of them." "All of them?" Serena was dumbfounded, a silence enveloping her before she could muster another question. "Did they say when they'll be active again?" "No." Serena hadn't anticipated this level of austerity. To go without new clothes or shoes was one thing, but to have her cards cut off entirely was a whole different level of punishment. All she did was badmouth Arabella a little bit. Was that really worth such a severe penalty? Arabella, the precious daughter who couldn't stand even the slightest discomfort without someone else paying the price. And what about Serena? Locked up for days suffering, did her parents spare a single thought for her feelings? Whether it was anger, grievance, or sheer desperation, something snapped in Serena. She swept her arm across the dinner table, sending plates and cutlery crashing to the floor. Betty, frightened, bent down cautiously. "Miss Serena." "Get out." Serena's voice trembled with emotion. "But you haven't eaten." "I said get out." At Serena's roar, Betty hurried out of the room, leaving Serena alone with her misery and the mess on the floor. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she cycled through laughter and sobs. She couldn't believe her parents could be so excessive. Just days before, she'd been roughed up right outside her own home and even suffered a snakebite. In her rush to apologize to her parents, she tripped and injured herself further. Despite all this, she had made them milk biscuits and handwritten an apology letter. But they hadn't asked after her welfare, not even once. Feverish, she poured over 2,000 heartfelt words onto paper, yet received not so much as a punctuation mark in response. Now, with New Year fast approaching, not only had they refused to let the designer create new outfits for her, but they also cancelled her New Year's gifts and, to add insult to injury, froze all her accounts. How could her parents be so cruel? Were they trying to make her hate them? Was that it? That evening, couple in coat shot up to the 3rd spot on the trending searches. A social media user had spotted a striking couple at a David concert. They were clad in matching overcoats, their faces obscured by black masks, but even so, their features were stunningly attractive. Someone had used AI to reconstruct their faces, and although the result was only 70% accurate to the real thing, that 70% caused quite a stir. People couldn't stop raving about how good-looking the couple was, especially their unmatched elegance. "Wow, that girl is so classy and charming. Too bad she's taken. I wish I could have a daughter like her. Is this not my long-lost future daughter-in-law? Our family is in the lighting business, owning 3 companies and 30 stores. Your prospective hubby is not too hard on the eyes and, most importantly, he's been single for 22 years straight. If you're willing to date him, it's not just him, we will all cherish you like a precious gem. Maybe consider joining our family, eh? Clearly, this is my granddaughter. I'm all alone in this world, but I've got a fancy downtown apartment and a retirement fund with a cool 6 figures in it. Call me grandma, and it's all yours. Why not be my daughter-in-law? Any financial stresses you young folks might have, I'll support you through and through. I'll provide the funds and keep my opinions to a minimum. Want to travel? I'll back you financially. If you have kids and don't want to be tied down, I'll hire a nanny and a babysitter. If you prefer not to live with the in-laws, pick any of our other villas and properties as you like. And if you want to sleep till noon, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. So, what do you say about becoming my daughter-in-law? I wish I had a daughter-in-law like her." After finishing her dinner and taking a shower, Arabella noticed Kenneth and Louisa scrolling through their phones on the couch. All these folks vying for my daughter? A measly 3 companies, and they're trying to snag my girl as their daughter-in-law? Even the elderly are getting in on the action. Just how popular is our Bella? You see, a bunch of trust fund kids are inquiring about Bella's details, ready to come knocking with marriage proposals? Are the youngsters really this bold these days? Arabella hadn't caught up with the news and was puzzled by their conversation. "Bella, come see, you've reached the trending topic again. I never expected Romeo to be such a romantic, dropping to one knee in front of everyone to propose with that big sparkling ring." Among the crowd, Romeo's diamond ring stood out, singled out by an eagle-eyed netizen. Arabella saw a flood of comments on Louisa's phone, all clamoring to claim her as their daughter, daughter-in-law, granddaughter. Her own phone buzzed with messages from her roommate group. "Joyce. Bella, is that you and Mr. McMillian in the viral couple in coat photo? Mr. McMillian sure knows how to make a splash, taking you to a concert and proposing in front of everyone. So romantic. Kelly. While the single folks take a hit, we send blessings your way, confetti.jpg.
Maya, is it true?
Netizens used AI to reconstruct the couple's faces, and it kinda looks like you, Bella, but not as gorgeous. And they're already stunned. If you and Mr. Macmillan ever tie the knot, the true beauty will rock the nation.
Kelly,
Bella's always been a stunner. I'd crush on her, and I'm a girl.
Joyce,
Same here.
Maya, me too.
On the other side, David, upon his manager's advice, started a live stream. The screen was awash with adoring fans, and as the viewer count skyrocketed, many were curious about the trending topic, eager to know whether Summer had lip-synced or plagiarized. After repeated questions, David noticed the growing curiosity. Without a hint of celebrity ego, he spoke in his soothing, magnetic voice. There's chatter about Summer's song, claiming it plagiarized previous 18 hit tracks. Tonight, I'll lay out for you if she plagiarized or not. The viewership exploded as people kept commenting. They didn't expect him to address this topic, reigniting interest in the matter. I'll lay it out for you, tune everything to the same key, and we'll compare right before your eyes. Then you'll see if her song is a copy or not. The audience was surprised he'd spend the time and energy to prove Summer's innocence. Soon, David's music breakdown shot to the top of the trending searches. As you know, a song is made up of an intro, verses, chorus, bridge, and outro. Let's break it down piece by piece and see how Summer's song stacks up against the others.
That's awesome.
I could listen to that voice all night. I'm head over heels for you. I'm a die-hard fan of Summer, here to cheer on you. The screen was a carnival of fan adoration. David flicked off the tipping feature. Guys, don't waste your dough. With that simple line, his fans fell even harder for him, flooding the chat with, "You're such a sweetheart.
I love you even more now."
David faced the camera, earnest as ever. In a moment, I'll strip away the BPM, effects, riffs and all those musical frills until we're left with just the melody, the harmonies and the bass parts. David got down to business. Some folks reckon her intro's a dead ringer for memory, others say it's spitting image of the last season, and some bring up Dear John. Let's compare and see if they're barking up the right tree. He took Summer's intro and laid it alongside the intros of the songs mentioned by the fans. The comments rolled in. Different vibes. Now that I listen to it, it's not quite the same. Summer's got talent to burn, no way she's a copycat. Sounds like someone's just green with envy. David's got skills. He's setting the record straight like a pro, first of his kind in the country. David paused the comparison, looked into the lens and said, "Some say Summer just added a few instruments to Valentine's Day, spicing up the tune, while others argue she only tweaked a few details from Wish, giving it a fresh twist, but ultimately it's just a rip-off. Some are adamant the arrangement's the same, save for a few subtle changes." Let's take a close listen to the melody of Summer's song and see how it stacks up against these tracks. After another round of comparisons, he asked, "Sound similar?"
Nope.
Absolutely no connection. They were never alike to begin with, no clue why there's so much hate online. Now that David stepped in, let's see who dares to cry copycat at Summer. Summer never copied, period. David then addressed the unseen audience. Let's dig into the song's rhythm. You all know about quarter beats, half beats, three-quarter beats, and so on. Let's tune into her rhythm. David gave a live demonstration. While the audience was virtually drooling over the performance, they became more convinced of Summer's originality, noting no resemblance to those other 18 songs. David approached the issue from several angles, systematically clearing Summer of any suspicion. Finally, let's vibe with the style of this track, what you might call its genre. This song was released by Summer 2 years back, and throughout it, you can hear her aesthetic, her spirit, the whole shebang that's uniquely Summer. Compare it with the rest and see if you can spot any copycat business. David instructed everyone to listen closely, once and again. The screen lit up with comments. Summer's tune is just way catchier. After all is said and done, I'd like to see those haters talk their way out of this one. Miss Kiki did the right thing suing him, gotta make him pay. To all the doubters, take a good listen to David's expert breakdown. You claim Summer's a copycat, Now where's your proof?
For listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.